That really me? Or just who I used to be? And is that how I want to be remembered?
But the million-dollar question is, how do Oliver, Mabel, and Charles want to be remembered, and will making a movie about their well-known podcast be their legacy? Inside, we learn about Zazz's joint replacements. They hear a mysterious noise in the background, which I'll be honest, I thought it was strange that they didn't investigate what that noise was, and I wonder if we'll revisit the scene later in the season and see this from another person's perspective. Now, on Zazz's desk, they find a bunch of random notes that have things like West Tower. There's a combo code reading 773440. There's a note reading the long game, and under all this, we see an envelope that reads looking at Charles. Now, one would assume that we'll be learning more about these findings because right now they seem to be very random, but I'm pretty confident they're going to end up on a murder board. But I do want to point out the West Tower and the code, to me, seems like this has something to do with the assassination of Sazz. Was she aware of this person trying to hurt Charles and she gathered all this information on her own? Definitely something I have on my suspicion board that we'll get to here in a second. As Charles gets a call from Lester about the broken glass requested replacement, which most likely was requested from the killer, which, speaking of placement, Charles realizes and places where the whistling came from, as does Mabel remembers when Gravy was barking, as they both decide it is time to go back home. Now, this is what I call a great callback, as we go back to the opening sequence of Once Upon a Time in the West, where Charles points out the significance of the first 7 minutes of that film being completely silent, as we see the show kind of recreating that moment on their own silence of the ending of this episode. And we also notice that what's going on in the film is matching what's going on the show in their own kind of unique way. As the trio make notes of the bullet hole, they also take notes of the blood found on Charles's oven, as he is texting the person who's pretending to be Sazz, as we have Howard returning with Gravy, who, by the way, remember she was a working girl. Well, I guess it's safe to assume that her job included her using her incredible ability to smell, which leads them to the chute that goes down to the basement. As they're now in the basement, they head into the incinerator, which again is a callback to the opening that someone turned it on, which caused a power surge. As Charles opens the door, he finds some ashes, and in those ashes, he finds those joint replacements from Sazz from Bulgaria, as it indicates that she's dead. As they're all there left in complete silence, we see that the person pretending to be Sazz texts Charles back and let them know that he's not their friend. Man, what a chilling and quite terrifying ending, and probably my best moment of this premiere episode. It's going to be the end of this week's breakdown of the return of Only Murders in the Building. Next to watching this show, this is my next favorite part about covering this show, and that is reading you all's comments. Make sure to leave your thoughts on how you all felt about this premiere episode, what worked, what didn't work, but also share your Easter eggs, share your deeper meanings you all took away from the episode, and also, more importantly, share your theories about who you all think is the killer or killers of this season. I'll be back every week releasing my thoughts and breakdowns after each episode, so please hit the like button, share this video to anyone and everyone you know that loves the show as much as we do, and also please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell, that way you don't miss any of my future content around this show. You all are awesome, stay safe, and I'll catch you all on the next video.
Yeah.